Are you taking Luna to Granny's?
And I got her clothes in her bag and my bag, as I didn't have time to dress her.
She's still in her pyjamas, and these were made by Jeanette, weren't they?
Yeah.
Crafty cakes. They were a birthday gift for Phoebe. Well, for Luna.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to day 22 of Vlogmas. It is about 4:10 in the afternoon. Dan's just gone to pick up the girls from my mum's house, where they've been for a few hours whilst Dan and I got a few bits done to the house to get ready for Christmas. There are just some things, including some wrapping, that we can't do when the girls are here. So my mum very kindly agreed to have them for a few hours so we could get on with it. It's not been an easy day for various reasons, but we have got there in the end. But I'm feeling a little bit drained. So I thought, I haven't filmed very much over the course of the day, but you would have already seen what I have filmed. So I thought I'd answer some questions. I've gone right back to around the sort of 9th, 10th of December. And I'm just going to scroll through and answer any questions that have popped up. And I'm going to do it sitting here so I can edit out where I have to scroll for ages and ages. But first of all, I just wanted to show you my Full of Minis hat. I talked about this yesterday. So I've added in the third colour, and I had a little bit more of the third colour. I only needed to add in one row of the cream in order to get to the full amount before you do the fold. So that's quite good. However, I think that's too dark a colour to go with the other two, which are very sort of light and variegated, and actually really loving how it looks mixed with the cream. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more planned with this project. I'm going to take this dark pink out. I'm going to go through all the minis that I've got so far from Cherie, and I am going to select only the ones I want to go in the hat, like the more lighter variegated ones. And I'm going to purposefully try and introduce the cream at the same point, whether I've got enough yarn or not. And any yarn that I have left over, I will use to make a pom-pom at the end. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I just wanted to get your advice. So I've started to fold the dark pink here. So let me know, do you think that's the correct decision to go for the more lighter and variegated colours mixed with cream? Or should I just do them in the order I open them, like I've done with my other Advent projects? And keep it as it is. Here's a little close-up. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below, and I really hope that's focusing. I really hope you could see that, but do let me know your opinion, because usually you guys are right. And the other thing is, someone asked me about a tutorial for the little stars that I make, the origami stars, which of course I don't have to hand, but yes, of course, I will try to remember to put a link underneath this video for those. But if you Google origami star, origami paper star, it's the one that's by Homemade Gifts Made Easy or something like that. Anyway, I'll put a link to it underneath. If it's not there, I've just forgotten. So just feel free to remind me. And then someone else asked about my slipper socks that I was wearing the other day. I made these a long time ago. I went through a phase of making a lot of them. And they have lasted me really well. They are acrylic. It is an Aran weight from Hobbycraft. That's the grey, and a DK yellow, which I held double. And the pattern, because somebody asked, is Slipper Sock by Sharon Klinsky. Now this is not in print anymore, but in a previous episode or video I did provide the link to where you can find it. So I will have to go back and find that link, and I will put that underneath this video. If it's not there immediately, it just means I haven't had time to do that, but I will try to do that as quickly as possible. And again, if I don't do it or I forget, feel free to just give me a nudge. I don't mind. I'm very forgetful. My memory is terrible. So a little nudge here and there is very useful. Right, let's get on to answering some questions. Okay, I've got it all open here. So the first one is, this is way back on the 10th of December, so that's where we're going to be kind of working from. Ali, do you have a list of podcasters? Ellie said you did. Ellie from Craft House Magic, that's Jackie. Jackie, yes, if you look under, if you mean podcasters doing Vlogmas, look under my first day of Vlogmas, and I've put it as a pinned comment, and it's also in the description box, the list of Vlogmasers. There are many more to add to that list, but I just haven't had the time. And definitely don't have the time to watch them all, but I'm slowly catching up on the ones that I've been keeping up with, and I'm slowly getting a bit more time to introduce some new ones. So that's been really, really nice. I was watching Jeanette Crafty Clegg Creations this morning because I haven't had a chance to keep up with hers yet. So I binge watched about 10, so I've got a few more to go, and that was really good fun. I love binge watching. Okay, Trudy has asked, Trudy Williams, this was a while ago underneath one of my podcast episodes, number 49. She has asked, am I too late to join the Strictly Sock Along? So it was probably just over a week ago that you asked this. No, it does run until the end of the year because there is a Christmas special on Christmas Day. So if you can knit a pair of socks between now and the end of the year and get it in the FO thread, by the time I close it, which is usually, I don't know, around the 4th to 7th of January, when I remember to do it, basically. If you can do it and get it in the FO thread, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You'll need to find a really good cheaty reason, though, to be able to knit on your socks when Strictly's not on, but it's not that hard to find a good reason. I'm easily convinced. Carol Jacobs has asked me to share my recipe for overnight oats. It's equal parts natural yogurt, I use fat-free, milk, I use semi-skimmed, and porridge oats, rolled oats. And then everything that you want to make it taste good. So I always put in a teaspoon of chia seeds, a tablespoon of nut butter. I like almond or cashew butter. A squeeze of honey for the sweetness, and I usually put in about a heaped teaspoon of cacao powder, which is like a natural chocolate powder, which I really like as well. Sometimes I'll throw some nuts in. So you can just really go to town, but the base of it is equal parts, and for me, I think it's 1/3 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup of rolled oats, natural yogurt and milk. And there you go. Joe Wood has asked where I got my advent candle from. So the one I'm using, I actually got as a gift from Annette in Denmark as part of my advent gifts from her, and I absolutely love it. But I did have one ready, so I put that in a drawer, and we're going to use that next year instead. And I actually got it in the sale in H&M in the UK. I'm not sure where you are, Joe, but if you're in the UK, I got mine in H&M. I've never looked online for one, but I would assume you could probably get one on Amazon. But I got mine in H&M. I've also got one, my one last year was from Tiger. Okay, Tara Worster, she has suggested, so it's more of a suggestion than a question, but I will respond to it anyway. The little pieces of paper that I get with my minis from Cherie when I open my advent minis, could I think about folding them into the origami lucky stars? Now that is a really good idea. I have never been able to master doing those little things. I do have some that I've got in various packages and I keep them all together. That is a good idea. Maybe I need to learn to do that. Thank you for the suggestion. I've just been scrolling through all the lovely comments that you left when Lilia did her singing. Thank you so much. Lilia's read them all now, and you could see like how much confidence and encouragement it gave her to see everyone being so positive about it. We were so proud of her, but we were also so happy that the school gives them those opportunities and that their peers really they all support each other so well in doing those things. It's amazing. It's not like when I was at school. My experience was very different. Anyway, I've arrived at my next question. So Samantha, who is a fellow fringe person, she asked, do you have a favourite cup when it comes to tea, or is there something special about each cup? I believe an awkwardly interesting or a pretty cup makes our tea and coffee taste better. I completely agree, Samantha. I have several favourite mugs. Some of them are really special because they were given to me, or just because of when I bought them, or because of how much I love them. But I have a lot of mugs that I use. For my morning tea, my Yorkshire tea, I have a specific mug. I also have mugs that I tend to use more for herbal teas, and I have 2 mugs that I tend to use for my hot milk. So quite often before bed I like to have a hot milk, because I find it really relaxes me, which is something I need. So I have different mugs for that as well. So I've got many mugs, and I agree it does make the tea taste better when you're drinking it out of a mug that you love. This isn't a question at all, but I completely forgot about this comment, and I meant to reply to it a couple of days ago and I haven't got around to it yet. But I had and I'm going to say this wrong, I apologise in advance, but we were so excited because we had a message from Itoshi Goto Maiza Oyama, and she had been excited to see the Doraemon manga character that the girls had in the Japanese tins that Vicky of the Ice Flower Crochet podcast had sent to them. And she's a viewer from Japan, which to us is just wonderful. We'd love to go to Japan one day, and the fact that anyone that comments really and says, oh, we're in Australia or we're in America or you know, somewhere in Europe or Japan, it's amazing that you're all over the world. I think I sometimes just think I'm talking to people down the road, but it's absolutely incredible to us that you're watching our life, which must seem very different to you in your parts of the world, in the same way that your life would seem very different to us. And isn't that one of the wonderful things about Vlogmas and vlogs and YouTube, is getting to have a little peek into how people live their lives all around the world. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much for that comment, and I'm glad that you enjoyed seeing Doraemon, and I hope that I am not saying that too badly wrong, although I suspect I am. Okay, Linda Harrison asked, I was talking in day 18 about the cowl that I was wearing, and it was the first ever, well, first and only so far, Tunisian crochet project that I have done. And she said, I've never tried Tunisian crochet. Did you find it as good to do as ordinary crochet? Yes, I did. I really, really did. I enjoyed it so much. I actually bought a basic long hook, but you can get a normal size hook, but with a cable on the end, much in the same way you get circular needles with a cable. So I haven't tried it that way, and I would like to, but I absolutely loved it. In particular, when you're doing Tunisian crochet, you work a stitch as you go across, and then every row you come back, you do something called a return pass. I think it's called a return pass, which is where you're doing a very basic return back to the beginning. That is so satisfying, I cannot even begin to tell you. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved every minute of making that cowl, and I would definitely want to do some more Tunisian crochet next year. But I also want to knit garments, which is what I wanted to do this year and didn't have time. I want to finish the projects I've got. I want to try more needle felting. You know what it's like. The list is endless and the time is not. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find a way to build some Tunisian crochet into my life. But yes, I would definitely recommend it. Okay, this is an interesting question. So Jan Filippo asked, I enjoyed seeing your walk home. The homes are so tight together and almost on the road. Is that normal in the UK? Yes and no. So certainly in suburbia, which is where I live, in the towns and villages, it's very, very common. I live in a terrace house, so I've got neighbours on this side of the wall and neighbours on that side of the wall, and we're in a terrace house all attached to each other of about 6 houses, and it's the same opposite and all along this road. But also on the same road there are big detached houses which aren't attached to anyone, but are pretty much that much space between them and the house next to them. There are bungalows, which are single-storey homes which have a lot of land around them, and there are some very strange houses which are upside-down houses, which you often see when I walk to school with Phoebe, and they are all attached to each other, but by their garages, and the top of the house is level with the street, and the bottom of the house is level with the garden because it goes down. If you go further out into villages, you will find houses well away from any other houses, and far away from the road. In some villages, in the centre of villages or towns, you will find houses that are actually on the road, and there will be no pavement. On our road where we live, there is pavement on parts, there is no pavement on other parts, and outside our house we have our driveway, a very small amount of pavement, probably about that much, and then the road. And the road is only narrow enough for one car to pass. But further up, there's enough room for 2 cars to pass. The houses have front gardens, and further down, they don't have gardens, but the road is wider. So there is no normal in the UK, I would say. I guess we have so much history, and the building of houses has been very organic. The house I lived before was actually, you could only get to it by walking up and behind other houses, because where it had originally been built in I think it was built in 1899, and the rest of the village had been built up around them, and it was almost like they couldn't be bothered to make sure that access was all right for those houses. But I guess they wouldn't have had cars in those days, so it wouldn't have mattered. And I'm rambling. So the answer is yes, but no. We have a little bit of everything here. Okay, Mevi van Ruij sorry, I've said that wrong, I know, has asked me how the translation's going, which I think is referring to the tea bags that I got as a gift from lovely Michelle, who, by the way, was who I suspected it was. It's Michelle from Pictures in Thread. She has a lovely Etsy shop, and she's donated some prizes to the podcast before and to me. Yeah, and she sent that lovely gift that I spoke about in day 19. And there were some lovely tea bags in there, and they had French writing, and my GCSE French was failing me slightly. But she was, Mevi is informing me that what the tea bag I was stuck on, it means finding you again, like after all the fuss of adulting and life taking over, taking some time to ground again. So yeah, that sounds really good. I think I need that. I might have one now. Okay, Sue. Hi Sue, Sue Dale. She's asking, how much are Phoebe's teeth worth? Have you found a wealthy tooth fairy? Well, our tooth fairy leaves £1 for normal teeth and £2 for the big teeth at the back. That seems to be what she can carry. So yeah, we think she's quite generous. So yeah, seems to do quite well. Karen Krause has asked, would you ever consider showing how to make the stars or point where we might find a tutorial? Yes, I'll pop the tutorial link underneath this video if I remember. So don't be afraid to remind me if I don't. But like I say, it is, I'm sure it's homemadegiftsmadeeasy.com. If you type in origami star, homemade gifts made easy, I'm pretty sure that's it. Right, let's keep going. Oh, it was Karina Doyle that asked about the slipper socks. So Karina, hopefully you saw what I was saying before. And thank you to everyone basically who was so nice to me when I was talking about just feeling really anxious. I struggle a lot with it, more at the moment than I have before. I'm doing a lot of stuff to help with it, and I'm glad that you appreciated me talking about it, because you are, many of you said it normalises it, so that's good, and you are right. I think I've got to stop, we all have to stop apologising, don't we, and just talk about it, because I think we can all understand to a certain degree. And I know a lot of you are having lovely Christmases, and I know a lot of you are having hard times at the moment as well. You might have health problems, family problems, or other things going on in your lives. So I just want to say a huge thank you for the time that you choose to come and spend watching me for 10 minutes. And I'm glad that it brings you a little something into your days. Knowing you're watching brings a lot into my days. So yeah, I'm into the realms of Oscar speeches again, aren't I? I'll shut up. I'll just see if there's any more questions. Someone said, can't wait to find out about Lilly's test. I completely forgot to say, Lilly had her grade 3 classical flute exam. God, it's quite hard to say. Earlier this month, and yes, she did pass, and she passed with a really good pass. So she's really pleased, and considering she didn't really practice, little monkey, I'm very relieved. So yeah, she's gonna have a bit of a break, and then she'll start working, she'll have a bit of fun for a while, and then they'll start working towards grade 4 if she wants to, which she does seem to, so that's really good. I'm really proud of her. As long as she wants to do it, she will. Helen Paxford, do you think it's anything to do with headaches and whiplash? I've been talking a lot about headaches that I've been getting recently. Yes, it's definitely to do with the whiplash. I went to see the insurance doctor, and he said it's one of the #1 symptoms. It's really annoying. They do seem to be easing off the past few days. But yeah, it's one of these things that you just have to ride out. But I do have physio booked for the new year. Though to me it feels like that's going to be too far away. But I might as well have it booked, and then I can go to it or not go to it. Hopefully I'll be better either way. Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions, but if you left a question that I haven't answered, please feel free to ask again. I've just been reading the comments that have come in throughout the course of the day, because I haven't been able to check at all throughout the course of today, and they've been so lovely. Thank you for all your kind words about anxiety and incredibly good advice. I feel silly complaining about it really, because I know we've all got to deal with stuff, haven't we? And here's me just whinging on. Anyway, the good news is my house after today is looking decidedly more organised and tidy, so we've only got to do some very basic things over the next few days, which means we can spend more time playing games and spending time with the girls, eating chocolate and drinking wine, because I'm going to stop worrying about all that kind of thing, and I'm just going to get on and enjoy it for a few days, because why not? We'll worry about the exercise and the calories in the end of December. Right, I better stop wittering again, trying to edit all this rambling down.